Pendragon is a 1994 novel by Stephen R. Lawhead and is book 4 in the Pendragon Cycle, preceded by Taliesin, Merlin, and Arthur, and I would read all three of those before I read this one, of course. So, anyways, Pendragon is narrated by Merlin, actually, as he tells us of the Forgotten War and how Arthur won the name of Pendragon for himself. We have previously had some of the life of Arthur in, well, Arthur, the book Arthur, but this fleshes out some of his life, as that was like really truncated, as the series was cut short initially by publication, and then we finally got these fourth and fifth books later, I believe, as Lawhead originally had intended. So we go back and get some of the story, so more of it essentially. So we go to start back to the time between Merlin and Arthur. We have Enid and Igernal again, and Peleus is once more present as well. We see Bedwyr and Arthur's relationship with him begin, and we get to see the beginning of the relationship with Kay as well. While part 1 is all about the beginning of Arthur, part 2 is set after his success at Badon, that we only get a brief synopsis of in book 3. It begins with a miracle concerning alcohol and feasting, and then gets to crowning Arthur king at last, no more just the Duke. Dux Belor. Part 2 also has a trip to Ireland. The odd thing about this part actually is that it's completely fanciful, right? It's the appearance of the Vandals here. This is after they're expelled from Carthage. Their leader is Amilcar. Not sure how he relates to Gelimer. They don't seem to be Arian Christians either. They're described in some kind of traditional Orientalist ways, interestingly enough. I don't know if Lawhead really had no clue what Vandals were, but they would have been, at least language-wise, related to the Saxons, and probably there's some relation there as well, but they're definitely European. So anyways, which is odd. But so nothing remarked about similarities to Saxons. So the only thing they share is their fear of horses with the Saxons, which again makes no sense. The Saxons would not have feared horses. I don't know where Lawhead gets this stuff, and Vandals used horses as well, but I don't know. Anyway, so in fact, horses would be highly valued in the earlier period and actually used in battle as well. So another question is if the Dalriada would pay homage to Arthur. Seeing as they're Irish, that doesn't really make a lot of sense to me, the Dalriada being the Scoti, the people that would go and pretty much mix with the Picts and found modern Scotland, but they're originally from Ireland. And I think publishing really messed some things up here. Like the first 3 books are pretty solid. The story is really truncated in Arthur, but the first 2 books are definitely interesting and nice prequel material to Arthur. It is weird that if you only had the 3 books, you'd get more prequel material in the first 2 books than you would get of actual Arthur in 3. So anyways, I think this would be better if it had been complete in the first place, right? That the publishing hadn't turned the series kind of wonky. Pretty much if you took parts of this book and put it in Arthur and took parts of Arthur and put it in this book, they would still be 2 books, but different content they have now. I think they would work better as it'd be more consistent. It'd be a bit more straightforward, like chronologically, which, I'm not opposed to going back and forth in chronology, but I don't think that was what was intended, obviously. So there is lots of fighting here, actually loaded near the back end, which I didn't particularly enjoy, which is pretty typical for me, though, in fantasy books. So if you like lots of fighting, then you'll probably enjoy this. The ending should lead nicely into Grail, of course, though that's an interesting idea, as we have seen the little attention it gets, actually, the Grail gets in Arthur, and so we kind of already know how that story ends anyhow. But we don't actually have really any of the story in Arthur, and we're going to get that in Grail. So we shall see. Liam from Liam's Vice. I'll catch you next time.